We got an intro. We got a little fade. I hope y'all like that music because I looked a very long time for something decent. Um anyway, hello. This is Alex. I am the host of Tap In Tap Out. We are going to be talking about a lot of stuff because I just like talk about stuff. But you can expect to have conversations around mental wellness, spirituality, what's going on, in the news. I don't know, culture. I talk about everything. I just like to weave it all in together. So, a more concise, I guess, way to talk about it is the mental wellness, spirituality, and the patterns that no longer serve us. Right? We're tapping into the good stuff and tapping out of the bad stuff. That's the most basic way I can say what we're doing here today and on this podcast. So if you know me, hi. If you don't know me, nice to meet you. My name is Alex. I am currently a college senior. I know I took so long to say that. I'm a college senior. I'm studying psychology. I'm trying to get into grad school. Well, I got into grad school. I can whisper that now. But we're trying to work out the kinks for grad school, to go into therapy. So I'm not a licensed professional, but I hope one day I hopefully will be. Send a prayer for me, please. I run a blog on Instagram called heartofshema. On there, I post mental wellness content towards the BIPOC community primarily, but it's for everybody. Give it a follow if you want. I'm not going to spend too much time at the top talking about myself because we're going to get to that towards the middle of the episode. But yeah, I have loved podcasts for a very long time. And I've always been interested in having one or being a part of one. But I never really knew when it would happen or what it would be about. But as I started my blog on Instagram and started putting out content, psych content and mental health content, I felt like I had a better idea of what I'd want to put out in the world, if that makes sense. And I actually tried video first. So if you go on my Instagram right now, I had a series on there last year called the Black Love Journal, where I just did 4 videos. Each of them were 8 minutes long. But I tried to just give a capsule for what was going through my head at that time in the pandemic and my own personal reflection time. And I really liked doing that, but I just didn't like setting up the camera. I love camera work, doing the camera stuff. I just don't like being in front of it all the time. It's necessary, when it's necessary, but I preferred this because I could look stink. And y'all would know, okay? I just like it because y'all just hear my voice. Y'all don't got to see my face. But if you want to see my face, there are ways you can do that. But I prefer this 100% because it's more about the story. And I feel like on Instagram, especially with videos, I was trying to be kind of concise because I don't want to take up too much time on the timeline. Whereas in a podcast, you're expected to take your time, take your time with it, do your thing. So it just worked for me and the person that I am. I feel bad for my friends sometimes because I do talk a lot sometimes. And so having a podcast is where that's supposed to happen. It's intentional. I'm excited to be here. So yeah, I honestly want to take this opportunity with the podcast to be a time capsule for myself personally, because I feel I learned so many things talking to people and going through life that I need to remember for later, but I don't really have a good way of doing that. I try to journal sometimes, but I don't really love it. It always feels kind of like a chore to me. So having something where I'm putting myself out there and it's something that I can be proud of, it helps me to remember where I came from, if that makes sense. So when I run into the same problems later, I can't act like a fool because I recorded it in the podcast. So maybe this will help me manage my life lessons a little better. I don't want this to be like I know everything and here you are. Like, because I'm not the kind of person, and I also don't know it all. I actually know very little. So, what I do know is how to start a podcast, which is what I'm doing right now. So, my expectation for this is for it to be something where it's a dialogue, it's obviously a journey, and as I'm learning things and as I'm growing as a person, just letting people into that experience and also inviting them to be a part of the conversation. So I don't want it to be like I'm the mental health guru, because I definitely am not. As you will swiftly find out if you listen to me for too long. But yeah, I really want this to be a mutual space, interdependent space that is fun and a little bit messy, but hopefully something good comes out of it, right? All right. So, what can you expect from the podcast? Most episodes, this is the main structure, right? We're gonna do a check-in. How are we doing? Talking about our mess, talking about what's going on. Then we're gonna check the inbox. So for this podcast, I am opening up my blog email. So that's heartofshema@gmail.com. That's gonna be in the description, in the show notes. Or you can DM the Heart of Shema Instagram page, or my personal page. Well, even that. Anywhere you can find me. But I will be primarily checking the inbox, the email inbox. So if you can, because most of us have an email, hopefully. So if please send any questions, comments, commentary. That's the same thing as comments, just a different word for it. But anything you want to share, anything we talk about in the podcast, like, please send them in. When I say questions, I don't mean questions you need to get answered, because don't count on me to do that for you. But if you're having something going on, or you want to ask for a friend, quote unquote, ask for a friend, I can tell you like what I would do, but I'm not gonna be in the place of a professional. But I can tell you what I would do. So if you want any of that, you can let me know if you want a fake name or not. I can definitely make one for you. Uh, yeah, I want to be a really cute part of the episode, because it'll be the part that involves you guys. So please, 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 please engage with me. Send me in your questions, comments, thoughts, and we will definitely go over them in the episode. After we check the inbox, we're going to jump into the tap in segment, which will be like the hot topic of the episode. And the tap in can be something I come up with. So, like, maybe a psychology concept or a mental health thing or something in the culture that's happening. Or it can stem from a question or a suggestion from the inbox. So, please, please, please send in your inbox thoughts. If we have a guest on the podcast someday, hoping for that, that's where the guest will be invited, probably, is that main, tap in time. But in the meantime, it'll just be me, because, we're doing this solo right now. I could also review some books. I have a book idea actually to talk about in the near future, but anything like that. And then after the tap in, we will take a short break, and we will take that short break to do what I'm calling a small business shout out. So since last year, I feel like small businesses got a good boost in the culture after the pandemic. Obviously, like, put a lot of people in compromising positions, but I've always like struggled personally with, like, yeah, I can buy from small businesses and I can send my love towards them, but what else can I be doing with what I have? So every week I will be sharing one or two small businesses that you guys can send to me, just to give a shout out. Like, no cost to it. Like, this is not like a paid sponsorship. This is literally just me trying to be doing what I can. So if you would like to send in your small business to promote it, or you have a friend that has one, please send in the inbox. If you feel like it would be more helpful if I got something from the business, then we can talk about that via email. But yeah, please, I'm not asking for anything, but if you want a shout out, just let me know. And after the shout outs, we will get into the last segment, which will be the tap out. This is basically a time to bring light to something that we need to get out of. What's a bad habit, a bad pattern for us? It'll usually be personal. I won't try to, roast the girls, but it'll be something that maybe as a culture we need to start saying no to, putting a stop to. It's meant to be a little bit comedic, but there's always gonna be some kind of truth around it. So yeah, that's a breakdown of it's gonna look like. So we'll take a quick break and then we're gonna get into the tap in for the week. Okay, we are back. Now it is time for the tap in of the week. This week, I wanted to talk about probably the biggest lesson I learned in 2020. I know, pretty like major. But honestly, I want to talk about the power of investing in yourself. I know. Some of these tap in topics will be a little more like dense in terms of like notes I personally take that I need to talk about on the podcast. But for this one, I just made a couple like literally like bullet points, and I'm just gonna kind of riff off of them because there are certain like direct ways that I feel like I've stepped forward and really like chosen myself and chosen that I'm like valuable enough to be poured into, and it's kind of changed my life. So I felt like it would be a good way to like get to know me for you guys, but also just share like what I've been learning so far. So the first thing on my list is therapy. Now, you will probably hear me talk about therapy a lot on this podcast, not just because that's my career path, fingers crossed, but I genuinely have gotten so much out of therapy. Uh, I currently use like the on-campus counselor, and I've heard a lot of opinions about it. Honestly, obviously it varies by college, it varies by state in the US at least, but I feel like I've gotten a lot out of like college counselor therapy. I definitely plan to do more, I don't say regular, but do more you know, separate from a college, like separate from a program type therapy later in the future when I'm out of college. But I have like truly loved therapy. I started in 2018, was it? Yes, 2018 is when I started, I want to say. And originally I knew I wanted to be someone in mental health, but I wasn't necessarily looking for a therapist. However, I was having a lot of anxiety about my life. It was actually really weird. I should probably talk about it because this is a vulnerable space. But just to peel the curtain back a little bit, I was having a hard time because I was like my family was meeting my roommates for the first time. Yeah, I'm talking about this on the podcast. Anyway, this is gonna be a safe space for all of us to share. So I was coming to school one semester and I had roommates who are my friends, love them. And my parents hadn't met them yet. And so there was a weekend for move-in and I really wanted my parents to like meet them and like them. And I think that anxiety of like my parents meeting my friends, and my brothers too, it's like my whole family. And so I was just super nervous because like my first year moving in, it was with strangers, but I didn't care because I was also in the dark. Like it was helpful to have them with me because people that I knew were coming with me to meet people that I didn't know. But in the second year, it felt like, okay, I have friends I know I enjoy. I have a family I know I enjoy. I hope they get along. I hope they don't think anybody's weird. So I was just I don't know why. There's probably something else deeper there that I did end up talking about in therapy, but I really was like having a hard time that weekend, and I had some like physical, like, I don't say symptoms, but just some like, it was affecting me deeper than I thought it should. And I was like, this is kind of crazy. I'm gonna go see a therapist. So I went and got signed up, and how they do it, I guess, at my school is like they have a like a diagnosis call or whatever, or not a diagnosis. What is it? It's like a check-in, like trying to get an assessment of like what are your needs. And so I did that, and the person that made the call, like the therapist, asked me if I had any like specific people I wanted, and I was like, oh, no, nobody, so I'll take you. you know. So yeah, we're gonna call her. I don't use her real name, so we're gonna call her. I almost said Fantasia, but that doesn't make no sense. We're gonna call her Fanta. How about that? I told you, my name's gonna be really good. Please send your questions in because I'm gonna make some really good names for you. Anyway, so my therapist Fanta. I hope that's funny because it's funny to me. Anyway, so me and Fanta's white, just to be candid here, and I had my worries, and there might be topics in the future about that, but I was concerned because I'm like, Miss Fanta, she didn't know me like that, and I knew of a couple like black therapists in the center, but I like was hoping I just get her, but I didn't want to not give this person a chance, so I did. Yeah, and just to, I guess, insert this, I'm black. Hopefully you got that from the podcast cover. Actually from the Bahamas, so I'm Afro-Caribbean. And so I feel like I already was coming in with this like layer of separation because of my let's say foreignness to the situation. Like I'm not from the US. And so I felt like I was gonna be working against two things if I'm a foreigner and also a black person talking to this white therapist. But I gave it a shot. Because at the end of the day, they're trained. Like she went to school for this. So I ended up going there, and I think at first I just wanted to like put out the fire. Like I just kind of I didn't want medication per se, but I wanted a quick fix. And I think what she began to teach me was, the power in like understanding why things are happening as a mechanism to like be free from that thing. So it was less about pressing the right button or saying the right thing to like fix me, but it was more about being able to externally process what I was going through, and her to bring in some like knowledge base into that to like validate me through knowledge. And it was so helpful because I felt like I was like this anomaly, like I'm just weird. I don't know why I'm like this. And by her taking the time to like take me through that, like it was just so helpful. And that didn't require her to be black. It didn't require her to be, Christian. I'm a Christian. It didn't require her to be like, I don't know, like who I was, but I think she did a good job at like meeting me where I'm at. And so we ended up doing a follow-up, and it just so happened that as I came back, like there were situations that would happen like 2 days before that like would trigger me or like send me into like some kind of a spiral. And so like it happened just at the right time that I decided to call her up, because it was such a good space to just externally process what I was going through, and not to put that on my friends who were also going through stuff, or just me running in circles around my problems and not really trying to like get to the root of things. And so I found it a really valuable space. I still see Fanta to this day. Me and Fanta have a great relationship. um, After about, I would say maybe 4 months, 6 months, I had a control over like the anxiety in terms of understanding why it happens. So really why I kept going, because one, it was free. It is free. Most colleges offer, I think, at least a couple sessions a semester for free. When I first came to school, it was 6 sessions, for example, but they made the switch to unlimited sessions for free. And so I'm gonna go every 2 weeks. If that's the case, me and Fanta are gonna be really good partners because I don't have to pay for it. So you don't have to pay for it if you miss it. So you just can't miss it, obviously. So every 2 to 3 weeks we would reschedule. And yeah, I think after probably half a year, I was like super comfortable with understanding where my anxiety comes from. I won't say it took it away from me. Like it didn't heal me from the anxiety, but it gave me the tools I needed to like manage it so much better. And at the time, I was just doing so many different things and being pulled in a lot of directions. Having somebody that like isn't my friend but is like required to like listen to me and hear me process things. It's not gossip, like it's not anything like I'm not spreading rumors, like it's just me vocalizing like feelings and thoughts. Like it was just so helpful to have somebody to talk to like that. And so we ended up continuing to this day. Me and Fanta are great partners. And I think because I am interested in psychology, I think that like we were able to get a little bit deeper into like certain terms and certain like aspects and dynamics in relationships, because she knew that like kind of where I was and what I was learning. And so it's been so helpful. And I think it was necessary for me personally because I needed to kind of see what it's like being in the client's chair. If I want to be somebody that's wants to be a caregiver like that, it just made sense to me that I would need to be somebody that knew what it would be like to be in that position. So yeah, I recommend therapy 10,000%. I think we all need it. I think there could be a much better job in how people have access to it, which is kind of what I want to get into when I get into the field more. But yeah, I 1,000% recommend therapy. If you know me, if you're my friend, you know this already. I talk about therapy every week because it's just my life. When I have friends that go to therapy because I talk about it, it just makes my month every single time. Um, and there are so much more like easier ways to get into it now. There's like online therapy where you can talk virtually with therapists. Um, there's the Therapy for Black Girls website if you're interested in Black therapists in your area. Like it's just amazing. So yes, therapy is the best thing ever. And I am biased. Next on my list of things, I didn't really make a name for this list. After therapy, I will say that skincare has been super important for me now. And before you go and flame me, okay, before you check out the Instagram and you see how dusty I look, I'm not talking about how I look, okay? I'm just talking about the process of skincare. Um, I was never super into like skincare or hair care. I felt like it was just kind of something to do. Like maybe that's like a guy thing. I don't know, but I wasn't super into it. But as I probably like I guess last year, maybe last 2.5 years, I cared more about what I'm putting on my face, and it's really less about what I'm using, even though I like certain things, but it's more about doing something that is like directly feeding back into myself. And I think we underestimate the power like those tangible, like tactile things are to our mental health, because there's something about like rubbing in the moisturizer and like looking for a nice toner and looking for these nice things that like make you feel like, yeah, I'm taking care of myself and I'm like applying that in the real world. I'm not just thinking about it or making a list of things I want to do or making a bucket list that'll never happen. Like skincare for me is a very like quick and easy, not quick and easy, but accessible way to directly let myself know that like I care about myself. And so yeah, I just love skincare. I love making it a routine. I love like a good face mask. Like it just feels good letting yourself be like pampered. Like I think if I had more money, I'd probably do like a spa day or something, or like I don't know. Like I'm just learning more and more, especially last year after so much heartache happen and so much like realization of just how little time we have, just how important it is to like remind yourself that you're important. And so like me buying an $8 bottle of moisturizer lets me know that I'm important because I'm worth an $8 bottle of moisturizer. That is probably the cheapest moisturizer you could probably buy, but you get the point. It's better than no moisturizer, right? So yeah, I think skincare is just super important. And last on the list of things, ways I invest in myself. That's gonna be the title of the list. Is video games. So if you know me, I keep saying that. So I mean, by this point, hopefully you know me. But I have a Switch, Nintendo Switch, and I got back into it. Was it last year? Yeah, last year for my birthday, I asked for a Switch, requested a Switch, got the money, got the Switch, and so with that, I was a pretty big gamer growing up. I mostly DS, Nintendo person, Pokemon, all the good stuff. Did some PC gaming in high school, but I took a big break in college. I just got too busy with like work and I just forgot that I play games. So when the opportunity arose, I definitely took it. And once again, I think it's something that like I do because it, how do I say this? I feel like when I play games, it's something that like directly benefits me. It's very similar to skincare. It's the same exact thing. Where like if I'm like reading a book, for example, on I don't know, like race relations, for example, that's good for me to know. But really, I'm reading it so that I'm better equipped to help other people, right? And work on that with people that are like not like me. Whereas doing skincare or playing video games is something that I'm doing that's bringing me joy and filling up my time, and it's coming right back to me. And so that's why I put these down the list for ways that I invest in myself, because I think taking the time to like acknowledge your existence and like do things that like validate your existence, and like by saying that, hey, I want to spend my Saturday doing this, I'm gonna do it. Like that in itself for me has been just very healing. Um and so I just feel like playing my Switch, even though it seems kind of facetious, like it truly is helpful for me. And I think it'll look different for other people, like what that thing is gonna be for you. It's just for me, this is how I found like a quiet place, to rest in and to feel good in. Yeah. Oh, games I play. I was gonna mention that. So, in case you're just dying to know what games I play. At the moment, it's mostly Animal Crossing. Yes, I'm one of those people. Love my island. I would do a tour, but this is a audio medium, and I can't do that. But love Animal Crossing. I play it most of the week because it's a very like you go on, do your things, go off, and then towards the weekends I'll do a little more like more project work, on the island. Also, right now I'm into Spiritfarer. If you haven't played Spiritfarer and you have a Switch, please buy it. It's like $30. It's an indie game, so please support it. I love it. It's also kind of resource management style, but it is more of a story to it. It's more of a plot that's like super interesting, and it's like it's just amazing. Please watch a trailer. I don't know what you got to do, but please get it. I got it on sale like $6 less. And I call that a win. Thank you very much. But yes, I recommend that game for sure. I also bought the 3D All Stars, like the Mario game, but I haven't started that yet because the boy's been busy. But I knew I want it, and it's gonna be gone in March. So I was like, let me just get this now. What else? Oh, Pokemon. I still play Pokemon. I bought That's kind of what encouraged me to buy the Switch, was getting back into Pokemon. Play a little bit of that. I'm gonna forget something really big. I just started Breath of the Wild, but I knew I was doing it not against my will, but like it's not my like first choice of game. I don't like boss fights. I'm sound like a wimp in a second. I just don't like scary things, and it's not scary, but if someone's coming at me hard, I don't need that. Like, why am I gonna willfully put myself in a position to get hurt? So yeah, I'm trying to break out of that like right now, so that's why I'm trying to play it. I take my time because it just be stressing me out. But yeah, definitely if you haven't got into gaming or you have before and you want to get back into it, I strongly encourage you to do that. It's helped me so much. And like I'm the kind of person that like will be at home and just be bored, quote unquote, all day. But like I have control over that too. Like what am I gonna do to stop from being bored? Like there are things I can do, you know? So playing video games has been really helpful for that. All right. So as we wrap up the segment, I wanted to make a note, just a personal note of ways that I want to invest in myself in the future because I don't feel like I have this concept like in the bag per se. For example, I one of my biggest flaws as a person is my relationship with like exercise. Like I'll be in psych class for the past like 5 years, like learning about all the ways exercise will like help you and how it's like essential. And I haven't seen a gym, and it's embarrassing how little I've been to a gym, period. Or like worked out. I have a very like internal resentment towards working out. And there might be an episode about that in the future because I have reasons, okay? I have reasons that I struggle with this, but for me it's not a struggle because I don't want to go. Like it's just non-existent to me. But in the back of my head, I know that, it's so helpful and stuff. So yeah, working out is something I really want to get into in some fashion. Like, and even saying it right now just makes me feel yucky, but I'm not putting a date on it. I'm not putting a year on it. I'm just putting it in the atmosphere. And along with working out, you see, just saying it makes me want to barf. I just like, if you know me, I don't touch a thing. Like I don't. I like walking. I'll walk. I love a good walk. It's scenic. I like it. I'm not running. I'm not jogging. I'm maybe a brisk walk if I'm feeling a little bit spicy. But I'm a good walk and I'm good. Like I don't need anything else. But yeah, also my diet, throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. I do not care what I eat. I be trying sometimes, but looking at my budget, looking at, what I want to eat, it's usually not something that's gonna be good for my body. But this is the space to grow. Like I said, this isn't the space for me to be like, I'm doing this and next and I'm just the best. Like it's not any of that. I need to work on myself, and these are the ways that I need to work on myself. And it's gonna be a journey, but I'm ready for the journey. Maybe not today, but someday. If you have helpful ways you got on track with some of these things, let me know. But today it's on the cards for me. Maybe tomorrow, but more than likely not. So just keep me in prayer, okay? With that. And I guess I have a bonus where I invest in myself. This is literally off the cuff, so bear with me. I feel like even just starting this podcast has been like a way to invest in myself and like not be afraid in like investing in things you want to try, because I feel like I'm gonna get vulnerable, but I'm the kind of person that like loves supporting their friends, and I love supporting people that I think are doing great things. And this might be a little bit too real, so if you get triggered, I don't know, like I'm sorry, but let me know if it resonates with you. But I'm the kind of person, if I let myself, I will watch people win, and get all the things they want, and just not realize that I'm just home in my bed watching people do what they want to do. And then, but after a while, I'm like, okay, well, what am I doing? Like there are things that I know I want to do. And I think that this podcast is a mark, because I like kind of caught myself in the act of like just being comfortable, like watching other people achieve their dreams, and just letting mine sit down doing nothing. Like, and it was like a big wake up call for me, because in 2020, like time is of the essence. Like we don't know how much time we have. And so I had to get up and just give this my best shot. Like I really would regret like waking up later, I guess, in life and realizing that the things that I could have done, I didn't, because I just didn't want to do it and try. Like, I just don't want to live with that regret. So I'm trying my best to like make the most of what I can. And I'm so grateful to be in a place of like privilege with this, because I talked about this the other day with my friend, but I feel like I'm so grateful that like I'm not in a position where I have to like send resources home to my family, or be like, you know, like be tethered to like not be fully in trajectory to like achieve what I want. And there are ways that I am still, but as a majority, like I'm not in a place of like needing to be there for somebody else. Like I can just fully pursue what I want to pursue. And so with that privilege, why am I home doing nothing? Like, and not like, I think it's important to rest, and you know, I'm not saying that, but I'm really kind of gearing more towards life trajectory. Like there are things that I know I want to do. Why not now? Like, why not now? If not now, why not plan when? You know, like there's so many things I think that I want to do, and I realized that the only thing that's stopping me is myself. So the last way, I guess, of investing in yourself that I'll share is that investing in your passion, investing in things that you want to pursue. Like I love to give things like one good shot, you know, like if it's a new project, or like even a friendship, or like anything like that, I'm just like, let me give it one good try. Because for me, being petty, I'm like, okay, so when it doesn't work out, or when I don't like it, I'll say I give it one good try. And that's real. But I think in a more, you know, positive way, I feel like it helps me have closure with like my seasons in my life, you know. So I don't know if that was helpful, but yeah, I definitely think that this is a good place to end the segment. So we can take a quick break into the small business shout out, and then after the shout out, we're gonna get into tap out. Okay, this is the small business shout out for the week. Today we are talking about reawakening love. And my friend Chris does not know I'm talking about this. So hi, Chris. Reawakening Love is a ministry that helps young women reawaken their confidence from shame through journaling. So she has a really awesome Instagram page at Reawakening Love, where you will find some journaling tips and ideas. I'm currently on it right now, actually, a little behind the curtain, but really awesome design work. She's amazing, very consistent, does all the things. She's just awesome. Along with the Instagram page, she also has an Etsy shop that I strongly encourage you to look at, where she hand paints Bibles and journals. Isn't that so precious and holy and reverent? Like, I just love it. She does an awesome job. She will like ask you what you need, what you want on it, and she will do it for you to the best of her ability. She also does custom illustrations as well, digitally. So please hit her up. Let her know you found out from me. Oh, that you heard about her from me. But yeah, she's awesome. I really encourage you to follow her. I'm kind of getting my Bible painted soon. I just have been trying to like buy the right Bible, because my current translation, I have an ESV, but I had ordered a note-taking Bible, because I just like the lines in it. But I feel like getting new Bibles help me to read it. Sometimes it'd be kind of hard. So I got like a New King James version that I want her to paint for me. So I will definitely come back for a review on this visual medium of my hand-painted Bible on this audio podcast. But yes, please check her out. She has awesome reels too on Instagram. So yeah, just check her out if you're looking for something, looking for new art. Great gift idea. Okay, I just realized myself, like, it's a great gift idea. Give somebody a journal, or a Bible, like hand painted. I'm talking to her like talking about her like she's open right now for business. So if she's busy right now and tells you no, I'm sorry, but it's a service she offers and has offered in the past. You can see her past work on the Instagram. But yeah, just please give her a follow. Share her stuff. She's awesome. That is the shout out for the week. If you have a small business that you would like to shout out on the podcast, please send them in to heartofshema@gmail.com. It's going to be in the description, show notes, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, please check it out. Yeah, shout out a friend, shout out yourself. And that is the shout out for the week. It is now the end of the show. It is time for the tap out. I hope you guys liked it. You enjoyed it. Let me know. Also, side note, it's as of recording, it is Super Bowl weekend, and I'm in Tampa currently. So I picked the worst weekend to record something. So if you happen to hear like a blaring honks or just a parade of people, just know that I'm not recording this in the middle of the road. Even though I basically live on the street. Like, I'm not for the streets, but I do live very near a street. So yeah, I just know I didn't sit here this whole time straight through. I definitely take breaks. I'll just say that. Okay, so for the tap out this week, I have a bit of a, I don't call it a story because it hasn't just happened once to me, but this is a time for us to reflect, on something that just needs some work, and who best to talk about what needs work than me. So picture this. You're at a shop. Let's say Subway. Just hypothetically, let's say it's a Subway, right? And you go into Subway, you want a sub sandwich. You don't really know what you want, but you've been there enough before that you have a good idea of what you're going to get at the end of the day, in Subway. And the nice worker asked you what you want. What's your bread? This is going somewhere. So you say you want Italian, she gets the Italian bread, right? Hypothetically. And then hypothetically, she asks for the sauce or the topping or the dip or whatever. The dip. The topping. What is it called? The condiment. It's called the condiment. She hypothetically asked for the condiment. So you say you want mayo. She gets the mayo, right? You're doing well. Little bit of pressure, a little bit of sweat in the arm, but we're here. And let's say she asked you the meat. You say turkey. I'm not gonna tell you my Subway order on this podcast, but I guess I am right now. Anyway, later on, she asks, "Do you want banana peppers?" Let's just say banana peppers, and you say no. I don't want banana peppers. You just say no. And maybe it's the pandemic, maybe it's pre-pandemic, hypothetically, because this has happened multiple times to me. But let's just say that you told her no banana peppers, but she still puts it on the sandwich. Do you say something or not? I have been famous for not correcting Subway sandwich workers on my order when it's obvious that they just misheard me. And this is maybe a character flaw in myself, but I just felt like this was a good place to start for the tap outs because it's the first thing that came to mind. Because what is it like? I'm going in there, right? It's a business. I'm paying for something. I'm paying for a product. I go in there. She's not mean looking. I don't know. Maybe it's always somebody that's not mean looking. It's always somebody's auntie, and they're trying to make my sandwich. And she just having a long day, and just maybe the ear is just not taking like it used to. So when she asks me if I want something and I tell her no, and she still puts it on the sandwich, what is stopping me from correcting her? And it gets me every time. And it's not that I go to Subway every week. I don't go to Subway every single week, but I'm just saying, let's say over the past 2 years, it's happened a handful of times where I want a sandwich or I want something, and I just don't advocate for myself like I should be. And so this week we are tapping out of that idea, okay? Because really is not about the sandwich. It's not about the lady. It's not about me, okay? What we're talking about here is advocating for ourselves appropriately, especially when it's appropriate. If she asked me a question and misheard me, it is appropriate that I advocate for myself and say, ma'am, I don't want the banana peppers, actually. Gently. Don't gotta be no fight in Subway. But I don't know what it is in me that just cannot do that. I am just not good at speaking up. Like, I have eaten sandwiches that I do not like. Like, flavor profiles that do not work. You know what? They probably judge me because they think I'm putting weird stuff on my sandwich when I just don't know how to correct them. Like, I have eaten some weird stuff. The worst thing that happens to me is honestly when they put jalapenos on it and I say no jalapenos. Guess who be eating hot sandwiches? Out of spite, because I just do not want to talk to them about how they made a mistake. Like, I will be eating spicy jalapeno sandwiches till I die because I do not know how to speak up for myself, and it is a problem, and I'm working on it. I'm getting better slowly, but if this is something you struggle with, let me know. It's our first tap out, so there's room to grow here. Okay, if you have a tap out you want to talk about, please send them to me too. But that is the end of the podcast. Woo, yay. All right, follow me on my personal pages on Instagram and Twitter at Justalextoday. This will all be in the description. But yes, give me a follow on there. You can follow the Heart of Shema blog page on Instagram. That's going to be where I post most of the content for this podcast, like promoting it, so you'll know when a new episode comes out, where to find it, all those good things will be on there for sure. Please, once again, remember the inbox, heartofshema@gmail.com. Send in the stuff. Let me know what you thought about the episode. With the tap-in, let me know what are some skincare stuff that you live by. What's some gaming stuff you live by? Like, just what do you live by right now? Like, what's something that you go off on with investing in yourself? And if you have a tap out that you want to share, please let me know. Or if you resonated with my tap out, please let me know. Small businesses, if you have a small business or your friend has one or your mom or your dad, just hit me up. Let me know. Talk about it. We'll talk about it. Please rate and review the podcast. This is very important. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, I don't know. But please take a few minutes, maybe, I don't know how long it takes. We'll just say it's no more than 2 minutes to rate and review the podcast 5 stars. It helps us out a lot. Helps me out a lot because it's independent. It's a solo project. So please rate and review to get this podcast out there. Also be on the lookout for next week. I am releasing the first set of meditation and affirmation tracks from the blog. I haven't mentioned that at all this episode, so I don't know why I'm like reminding y'all like y'all knew that, but now I'm telling you that there will be affirmation and meditation tracks from the blog, also via like I guess a podcast format. Please support those. Give it a listen. Next time's episode, I don't know if it's next week, but the episode next time will probably be about mindfulness, meditation, or something around that nature, so we can start to learn about that more, because that's something I actually do have a little bit of experience in as a person. Took a few classes, did a few things, so I'm really happy to talk about that next time. But that'll be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And I'm gonna see you next time.